Okay. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, and it's great to have you with us today at the 6th International ICOACHKIDS Conference here in Frankfurt am Main. It is extra special to be hosting our first physical event in 3 years. So I think a great round of applause for everybody here in the audience today for making it all this way into Germany. Over the course of the next 2 days, we're welcoming over 30 speakers from around the world to discuss youth sport, as many as possible for as long as possible. Developing resources to minimize youth sport dropout and to improve the quality of talent development environments across Europe and beyond. We're thrilled to be hosting this event, along with world-leading coaches, practitioners, and researchers that will be sharing their insights. And today, we're welcoming audience members from over 60 countries worldwide, both here in Frankfurt, and if you wave at that camera over there, online too. So hello, everybody online. Just a quick thing, you will notice you have a QR code on the back of your lanyard. Mine is in my pocket. You'll see the QR code. If you want to see the extended program and learn a little more about our speakers and the rest of the events over the next 2 days, please scan that code to be able to view that. Now, I would like to introduce to you two of our German hosts, Katharina and Heike, who would like to welcome you to Germany formally and outline some housekeeping principles for the event. Welcome.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Heike, and first of all, we like to say that we are so honored to host the first ICOACHKIDS conference here in Germany in the House of Sports.
Yes, and I am Katharina Morlang, and we both want to welcome you warmly here in Germany, in Frankfurt am Main, where organized sport is at home and where positive conditions are created for children and young people in sports nationwide.
Yeah, and when we first heard about ICOACHKIDS from our colleague Tim Brentjes, who's also here today. Hello, Tim, from basketball. We were immediately excited about the idea behind ICOACHKIDS.
Now we are so thankful to be part of the global ICOACHKIDS movement, to bring this idea of ICOACHKIDS into German coaches and to create and experience a hopefully great conference together with you today and tomorrow. Heike and me, we learned in the last years in the partnership with ICOACHKIDS a lot about how to create positive environment for kids and young people in sports, especially how to put kids first in everything we do in sports and create coaching from their eyes, from their perspective. Thank you, ICOACHKIDS, for so many new experiences, for sharing your study guides with us. And thank you, Hungary, for the best boat trip Heike and me ever had.
Yes, and because COVID is still bothering Germany, and because we want to have a safe conference and also a safe place for the people who are working here, we have to ask you to wear your mask here inside the building. If you go to the restaurant for food or for drinks, it's okay to pull off the masks, of course, and also outside and in the sports hall in the other building too. If you have any questions during the conference, don't hesitate to come to us, to our team. You see it on our t-shirts. Just come to us and ask the questions.
Yes, it is not only the two of us. We have brought our wonderful DSG and DOSB team with us who will be happy to help you at any time. Maybe you could only shortly raise your hands for a moment, DSG and DOSB team, just to see your faces, who is here. We will help you if you have any questions. Thank you. During the sessions here in the house and in the sports hall, we will get many great national and international impressions. Thanks to all of the speakers in advance for your engagement. After the first day of the official program of the conference, we are also looking forward to give you all an impression of the beautiful city Frankfurt by bus, and afterwards enjoying dinner in a typical Hessian apple wine tavern.
So we wish you a lot of fun, a great exchange, wonderful new minds and thoughts new friend and partnerships. And we hope you feel comfortable here with us here in Frankfurt. So now back to Gary. And have a great conference.
Thank you, Heike. Thank you, Katharina. Just another thing as well, social media is a big deal these days, apparently. So please be sure to post anything that you have captured at the conference over the next 2 days and use the hashtag ICKconference, and be sure to follow us at ICOACHKidsWorld on all of the platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all of the others. I would now like to welcome Chair of the ICOACHKids Global Movement Committee, Sheila Quinn.
Thank you, Gary, for that wonderful introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure and privilege to be here to welcome you to this conference, our 6th international conference entitled Youth Sport as Many as Possible for as Long as Possible. I would like to take this opportunity first to thank our partners and hosts from DSJ for the wonderful job you have done organizing this conference in the wonderful city of Frankfurt, and we look forward to our trip this evening very much. I would also like to thank all of our presenters. Our presenters have given freely of their time, their experience, and their knowledge to be with us over the next 2 days. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It really means a lot to us. I would finally like to thank all of you for attending here, whether it's here in person or whether it's online around the globe. Thank you so much for being with us for the next 2 days. ICOACHKIDS is a not-for-profit global movement that promotes sports education, policy, and practice that puts children first. Our vision is a world where every child has access to positive, meaningful experience that will hopefully engage them and keep them involved in sport for longer. I'm going to briefly talk you through the history of ICOACHKIDS and where we are today. But first of all, I wanted to look briefly at the context in which we are currently working. Unfortunately, none of this is news to you. We see far too many headlines like this right across the globe. We live in an increasingly inactive world. And I guess one of the objectives of ICOACHKIDS is to ensure that when coaches engage with, or when young athletes engage in sport, that their experience is so good that they never consider leaving. In October of this year, the World Health Organization produced its global status report on physical activity. It identified that 80% of adolescents, the group that we're here to talk about, 80% of adolescents do not meet the recommended levels of physical activity. This is even more worrying when you consider that sedentary behavior tracks well into adulthood. So if they're not physically active now, it's less likely they're going to be physically active when they're adults. So the question for all of us is, what can sport do? Okay, what is the role of sport? First of all, we are not the only players on this pitch. You've got education, you've got active transport, you've got communities, and you've got parents. But sport has a really important opportunity to impact positively on the lives of children and young people. We have evidence that tells us the vast majority of children and young people engage in sport and physical activity at some point during their lives. We need to ensure that when they engage, that their experiences are positive and meaningful, and that it's like that for each and every child, that we don't just coach the talented ones. We need to consider how sport is perceived, how sport is delivered, and what it is we value. ICOACHKIDS has come a long way in a very short space of time. We started as a European project with 8 international organizations, okay? The why was to make sure that all youth sport participants were inspired to stay involved in sport and physical activity for life. The what was to champion sports education, policy, and practice that puts children at the center of the process, that everything we do revolves around the needs of children. Okay. Since the start, we have had unprecedented success, and we've attracted attention from non-EU nations, from international and national governing bodies, and from global players in industry and in health. As a result of which, because of the momentum that we had developed, we started in 2021 the ICOACHKIDS movement. Today, the ICOACHKIDS movement continues to promote and develop a global sports system that provides positive movement experiences for children through high-profile partnerships and projects. Our goal, our mission and vision have not changed a lot since we were founded in 2016. Each and every child to have access to positive movement experience that fosters a love of sport, play, and physical activity. Our mission is that ICOACHKIDS would champion sports policy, education, and practice, again, that puts children first. Our intention is to do this through 3 strategic pillars. So we're looking at developing people, ensuring that the coaches, the parents, and the participants and organizations that deal with youth sports have the skills, knowledge, and information they need to ensure we're getting this environment right. We also want to work on driving global change. So we want to influence policy and practice. So in many ways, we want to look at a top-down and a bottom-up. The other really, really important element of this for us is that it's evidence-based. Far too long far too long, children have been offered scaled down, watered down versions of adult sport. We want to change that by looking at the evidence and identifying what children need and hopefully changing the environment to match their needs. Our partners we're going to introduce to you later on during the session, but you can see who they are here on the screen, and also our supporters. This is a sample, and I mean a sample, a very small sample of the type of organizations that engage with us in relation to youth sport and ICOACHKIDS. We work in countries from Singapore to Luxembourg to Northern Ireland, from South Africa to Portugal, from mini basketball in Latin America to the Gaelic Games Association in Ireland. So we have a really good, we attract a really broad number of countries and number of different projects. And what we would like for you to do, we can't do this on our own. We have to change this system one coach at a time if that's what's necessary. And we really would like you to join us. We have 3 massive open online courses available. And also, again, and I took them from outside, I will put them back. Our German colleagues, this is MOOC 1, the study guides that go with MOOC 1. Our German colleagues have translated these over the last couple of months. So we have 3 massive open online courses available online. And we also have lots of video and content available for you in 7 different languages currently. Okay. The last thing that I need to tell you, or I need to do, is I need to officially declare the conference open. And I really look forward to hearing how we're going to keep as many as possible involved in sport and physical activity for as long as possible. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you. I'm going to hand you back to Gary.
Thank you so much, Sheila. To begin then, we would like to welcome a member of German Parliament, Philipp Kremer, and a representative of the DSG, the German Sports Youth, Luca Werner, to the stage to have a small discussion.
Welcome, everybody. There are a lot of cities who claim that they're the capital city of German sports, and actually everywhere I travel, they say, welcome in the capital of sport, whatever. There let's not talk about the capital, let's talk about the home of the German sports, and that's definitely, and you can't argue that, Frankfurt. Welcome to Frankfurt, welcome to the home of the German sports, in the house of German sports. And my name is Luca Wernert, I'm a board member of DSJ, and I'm really glad to see you all here. I know that the team of our staff is planning this conference for a long time and with a lot of motivation. And I'm super happy that this is the beginning for very fruitful days here in Frankfurt. I want to welcome especially the representatives of all the partner organizations from Ireland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, and Hungary, as well as FIBA. I want to welcome personally, great you're here, Philipp Krämer, member of the German Bundestag, our parliament, and the deputy chairman of the sports committee of the German Bundestag. I want to welcome all speakers and who will give us the great sessions where you do the really important concrete work. And of course, all colleagues from DOSB, from our member organizations, and the colleagues and more important guests. Last but not least, there are the souls of ICOACHKIDS. For example, Sergio Lara Bercial as project leader of ICOACHKIDS Plus from the University of Leeds, and he's also the vice president of the International Council for Coaching Excellence. With us today is also Ladislav Petrovic, Secretary General of the ICCE. You already heard Sheila Quinn from Sports Ireland and the chairwoman of the Global Movement Committee. And of course, everybody else from the ICOACHKIDS team from Leeds, for example, with our moderator, Gary, who will co-host this whole event. I would like to say some words about the DSJ and the role she has. Maybe some of you don't know us yet. And we're both a youth association in Germany and a sport association. In this dual function, we perform a large variety of tasks. For example, we represent the interests and needs of young children and young adults, get them moving and put them first. I really like this slogan. It makes clear everything we do as DSJ is making children and young people into movement, empower them, and of course, just bring them forwards in their life, strengthen their personality. This is also one of the reasons we decided to become partner of ICOACHKIDS in 2019. And we all want youth sport starting from the perspective, from the eyes of children and young people. It's exactly, and the belief in a positive and holistic approach to sport bring us all together. Our target is to offer sport for children and youth wide, which depends on the needs and interests of children and adults in such a way that is permanently attractive for children and youth, that they stay in motion in sport clubs for life, that it reflects their interests and needs, that it allows participation of young people, and that it strengthens their development. We are convinced and we know that sport clubs are the valuable places of education. And of course, coaches are the key persons who stand for successful children and youth sport. And they must be qualified according their pedagogical skills. Wow. Being a coach means a lot of responsibility. It means also experiencing a lot of joy, a lot of personal satisfaction. And through the work with children and young people, a very important task for our whole society. I wish us a very successful conference, and I'm looking forward to the international exchange you will have in the next days. So we all can learn much better how we can inspire more children and young people to exercise and to do sport. I'm now very happy to welcome our special guest from the German Bundestag here at our small stage. You know, our government is seated in Berlin, our capital, but today he's with us. Please welcome Philipp Krämer, member of the German Bundestag and deputy chairman of the sports committee from the Bundestag.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, guys. I'm very happy to see you, to be here in Frankfurt. It's very wonderful to see that much people who work on this important issue, and I think you will have a very successful conference in the next 2 days. Thank you.
Yeah. I said some words about the motivation for us as the German sports youth to participate at the EU project ICOACHKIDS. And Frida told us again, and we all know that the lack of exercise, the lack of movement is a worldwide problem now. I want to ask Philipp, as a politician, how do you see this situation in Germany? And if you want to tell us what's the role of you as a politician, as a member of the Bundestag, fighting this situation?
First, I think it's very important to put kids first, like we could see in the PowerPoint presentation. This is very important after 2 years of COVID. I think it's the most important thing, and we learned this in the last month as we see the consequences of the COVID pandemic. In my opinion, there's a very big problem which is related to the whole society. There are a lot of kids in kindergarten or the primary school who are not able to do the basic exercise like rope skipping or to do a somersault. So today, this is affected to the majority of kids in Germany. And then I think it's like the same in the whole world and in other countries. When these kids grow up, they are usually not interested in sports. So this topic is a threat for other political questions like health or community building. And I'm afraid that this will even get worse in the next years because there are less people volunteering in sports projects, and school is obviously not able to solve these problems. Therefore, it's a main aim to motivate kids to do sports, to go out, to join a team, and to meet friends in their sport clubs.
Yeah, we know that we have to do this permanent work on this issue. And I know that during the first year of ICOACHKIDS, an expert group developed a so-called ICOACHKID pledge, a set of 10 golden rules, most of you might know them, for coaching children. That, when you follow them, they will guarantee a positive and rewarding sport experience for kids. Is the qualification of trainers a topic that is part of your political daily work?
Yeah, of course. I think it's a main thing. We developed a program called Restart After Corona with 25 million euros. A part of this program is to support the qualification of trainers and volunteers in clubs. And as sportive people and people who are interested in sports, we all know how important it is to have a trainer who motivates us, especially when you're at younger age. Also, it is very important that kids can trust their trainers in sport clubs so that they can talk to them about their sport problems and also the problems of their daily life as well. I think this is a main part of the qualification of trainers.
The condition for motivating is surely one part, but the other part is, and Sergio told me, there's this one part who drops out, maybe, if you don't care. And there's this other part, which is going to do 20 hours sport a week. And we have to look after them and that everything is going good. So we have this elite sport part in this whole complex. And I think it's quite a challenge to link these two groups, these two systems. What do you think? How can these two fields of grassroots sports, getting young people into movement, but on the other side, competition, success-oriented sport. How can these fields interact?
I think it's not that easy because we have a big gap between these two fields of sports. In the last months, we talked a lot about Olympic Games in Germany in 2036 or 2040. And this would be a very big and expensive program. We talk about 60 to 70 billion euros. And I'm very interested in German Olympic Games. It would be a big party. And I think for all of us, it would be a nice thing. But as a politician, I can't explain why we support, why we spend, but there are still damaged stadiums or swimming pools in local cities. So the challenge is to combine Olympic Games or big sport events with the support of local sports activities. In the 17th, there was a golden plan in Germany to build or rebuild sports grounds. Today, we also need something like that. For example, a green plan, like my party, but especially for the climate neutral building, for emission-free sports grounds. And that can also motivate kids, but also adults to do more sports in their daily life.
Philipp just mentioned the Olympic Games, a very actual topic in Germany. I just coming from France, and everybody is super jealous about the French colleagues having the Olympics. Are there any other major plans beside the Olympics the German government, the German parliament have in the field of youth sport in the next, let's say, 2-3 years? What are we waiting for?
Yeah, the first thing is discussing the requirements of organizing big sport events in Germany. I already mentioned this. Are we ready for Olympic Games? What about also the Euro 2024? Are there special events for kids or younger persons? Like in 2006 at the World Cup here in Germany, there were 1,000 football areas built for young people. This could also be a good thing for 2024. And secondly, we are currently setting up a center for safe sport, which is intended to work against violence in sports in general, but in particular to address sexualized violence. This is about prevention, supporting these affected and excluding the perpetrators. And thirdly, we need to renovate the sports facilities, like I said, in the country and make them climate neutral in the coming years. We have to set criteria, for example, for how far away the nearest swimming pool should be and how we can support communities or clubs with little money. I think this will be a big challenge for all of us to think about how to spend the money on sports like we spend it on other issues. You know this, we talked a lot about Zeitenwende, and I think if we have a lot of money for military aspects, we also need to spend money in sports because this is future, and I hope military is past. So I will be very happy to see this happen.
Philipp, thank you very much for your visit, for your insights into the German sport policy. We really appreciate the partnership between the members of all the committees, of all the parties, and the dialogue we do getting kids into movement. I want to mention one thing. You were welcomed by a big, let's say, bear. It's Movellino. Movellino is the mascot of our campaign, Move. As German sports youth, we want to bring kids back into movement. We want to encourage them to join clubs, to simply get to move. And if you want to know more, please don't hesitate to ask all of our staff members about the Move campaign. It's funded by the government, and we were really happy to have this possibility. And maybe government finds some way we can go on with that program. But that's a very interesting campaign to contact young people directly and get them into sports. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you all a successful conference.
Thank you.